Welcome to part 2 of the flipped classroom and project-based learning theory and practice web workshop. I am Katie Vernon. I am a current science teacher in high school, and I invest a lot of time in taking best practice and figuring out how we can now move into next practice. So please follow me on Twitter, tweet at me if you have any questions or concerns, or just want to start a dialogue. And I want to remind you about our back channel. Back channels are really used to create a very specific dialogue. And so I want you guys to use this back channel to talk to each other. If you're sitting here just listening to this on YouTube, you're not interacting with other people. So use this back channel. Go ahead and open it, see what other people are saying, and jump in. So this is part 2. This is going to be our introduction to flipped learning. We're going to talk a little bit about how it's different from traditional classrooms and kind of some of the benefits and challenges and what we can do to take this next step. So traditional classrooms, what do they look like? Well, a lot of teacher-centered learning. So here you can see, teacher right at the front and students interacting with the teacher, not really each other. She drives or he drives the content of that class. Content is delivered in class. So we're going to have this is our traditional lecture. Okay. And then we send homework home. So homework is something like problem sets, questions, those kind of things. And that's what we're talking about here. So this is your expert work at home. We see this a lot with math, where we learn a concept in class, and then you as a student are expected to just figure it out at home. And so there's not a lot of expert help when you send this kind of stuff home. And there's also not a lot of time for application and hands-on activities. As a science teacher, I do a lot of labs. And so now that I have kind of gone away from the traditional classroom model, I've been able to do a lot more of those hands-on things. So how is flipped learning different from traditional classrooms? Well, flipped learning, we're going to take this knowledge acquisition that was normally done, this is our in class, and we're going to do this at home. So like you're doing now, maybe students will watch videos or they read something from the text and have to summarize it in some kind of way. And then the knowledge construction, things like practice, problems, discussions, debates, those kind of things are all done at home in traditional models, but in the flipped model, practice is done in class. Students can interact with their peers a lot more. If you see here, students are interacting a lot more with their peers, whereas here they're only really interacting with their teacher. So you're also, as the teacher, you are around to give expert advice. So you can go to this group and see how they're doing, then you go to this group, then you go to this group, and everybody's going to be talking about a topic that's very similar, but maybe all in a different way. And students are going to learn how to address their peers and talk to their peers in a very meaningful way. So what does my flipped classroom look like? This is kind of the burning question, right? For homework, I send a 7 to 12 minute video lecture or a reading assignment. It depends on the class. For example, my traditional biology class, it's 9th and 10th graders, they are going to watch a video no more than about 12 minutes. The rule of thumb is about 1.5 minutes per grade. Okay, so if you have 5th graders, you're gonna cap it at about, plus the grade. you're going to cap it at about 6.5 minutes. If you're teaching 10th graders, they can go up to about 12 minutes. Seniors, you have a little bit more flexibility, especially in something like an AP or an IB situation. And so what I do is I collate all my videos onto my Google site. So some of you have Wikispaces page, some of you have a Google Sites, Edutopia. You can put in resources there, and I just throw them all straight to YouTube, just like where you kind of found this video. And then in class, every day is going to be different. It depends on what we're doing, what we're covering, what skill I want my students to learn that day. So they're getting the content. Content is at home. They're going to come in with a set of vocabulary already established. And then in class, we're going to use the content. Okay, and we're going to maybe solve some problems. We're going to do some data work, which is seen here. Maybe we're going to do some group projects, like is seen here. It just depends on kind of what the topic is, and it depends on the students. I can differentiate a lot more in this style than I could when it was a straight lecture style. So what I want you to do is to pause the video, and I want you to write down some of the benefits of flipping your classroom and some of the challenges. So if you are with somebody, think about it pair share. If you're not, then I want you to think and write down, and then maybe share using the back channel. Okay, so this is a great way to use the back channel. So I hope you thought about some of the benefits and the challenges. When I look at my own class situation, I see a lot of the benefits. I now have 100% homework completion. There's several ways that you can do this. I use what I call an entrance ticket instead of an exit ticket. So students, when they come into class, they must show me that they took notes or answered a set of questions or did something that shows me that they watched the video. Again, this is going to be different by different classes. With 9th graders, it's going to be a little bit different than it is going to be with seniors. They have different skills. My students have also developed better note-taking skills. So I work with them in the first week, and I say, okay, let's watch the video together. Is it hard? Is it easy to follow? Is it hard to follow? Are there places you want to pause or whatnot? Okay, now you watch the video and try to take notes. And then I will walk around and I will give them tips individually on how to take notes better, using bullet points, using abbreviations, those kind of things. It helps me to figure out what students don't know when they come in. It's kind of our job as educators to figure out what kids don't know and then to supplement. Got more time to do in class, so I get a lot more of the hands-on stuff and the application and the synthesis, and I'm getting a lot more evaluation, synthesis, creation, and application. Those top levels, if you look at the top levels of Bloom's taxonomy, we're looking at these top levels here. And I can do a lot more of that with my students because of the flipped method. Challenges. There are some. I mean, I don't want you guys to think that this is the easiest, but it is what's really great for your students. Some of my challenges were learning how to make videos, but as you're seeing now, I have gotten pretty good at it. I use an app called Explain Everything. It's maybe $2.99 or $3.99 on the App Store. So I use it on my iPad. I can write. These are PDF slides that I'm writing on right now, and I can just write on them and then send it straight to YouTube. It's also challenging to figure out what's important. You want to keep your videos short. Okay, so that means you have to pick out the most important things and go from there. You got to set aside some time to learn how to do it. So that's for you. Using a teacher workday or using the summer or using some of your breaks and really figuring out how to do what you need to do. And then teaching students how to watch the videos and take notes. Like I said here, this goes with their better note-taking skills. If you take the time to do this, your students will benefit beyond belief. And then you need to set reasonable expectations for your students. That goes with time. Okay, so keeping the videos shorter is setting a reasonable expectation. Expecting students, even 11th and 12th graders, to sit down and watch a 25-minute video and not, get distracted in some way and miss probably the last 10 minutes of that video is a really high expectation. You have to have some pretty special students. I'm not sure I could sit down and listen to a 25-minute video all in one sitting. So this is really, really, really important. And I had to learn that. My first video that I made was about 20 minutes or so. And the feedback I got was really, really rough. But I'm glad I listened to my students, and they said, you have to shorten these. We really like this, but please make it shorter. So don't forget about the back channel, okay? And please hit me up on Twitter. I'm at Vernon_BHS. If you have any concerns or questions, or you just want to connect in any kind of way.